Yo, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Morning Momentum. It's 9:40, a little bit later in the morning, but still got to get this in, guys. This is VA Action Plan, day number 9. I think overall, Morning Momentum number 57. So I'm excited to have you guys back. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Matt Beard, real estate investor here in Phoenix, Arizona. We buy properties nationwide, but it's not all about real estate here. The point of this week and the things that we're talking about for the next 30 days is all about virtual assistants and how you can integrate virtual assistants in your business, regardless of what your business is, to be more efficient, find the leverage so you can outsource tasks that are taking a lot of your time. You know, I was just recently reading a book prescribed by me. I called Cody the Book Doctor. So he prescribed me Who Not How. And it's a very, very, very powerful book. You start realizing that, you know, instead of trying as a business owner, try to think of like, how can I do this? And how can I do that? And how can I generate more revenue in my business? And how can I break into this new market? How can I grow my business? Whatever. You got to start asking yourself, who can help me break into a new market? Who can help me grow my business? Who can help me scale? Who can help me call and find new prospects? Who can help me find motivated sellers in real estate? Whatever it is, it can be done by just simply switching that question. How all do? Who is the only way? Who is how you can scale? Who is how you can find leverage? So finding people in your business that can help you out is going to be a game changer. Okay. I see I have some connection issues here. So hopefully you guys can hear me decently here. But ultimately, again, who, not how. And that's the reason why we're doing this whole series, entire series around getting VA help, getting folks that are going to help you in your business. And the source that we're going to do that is by doing your VA action plan. Now, yesterday we talked about, you know, was the first day. We did our pre-launch sequence last week with straight days of getting everything in order to have your business ready to be ran by virtual assistants. Yesterday we talked about, for real estate investing in particular, what is a good lead? How do we train our VAs on a good lead? So that is where we're going to be picking up today. And we're going to talk about the script, the stuff that we say in our business, the stuff that we train our VAs to say, to find those motivated sellers. Okay. So now they understand the context. They understand the context behind, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is ultimately how the business makes money. Now, what do I say? Right? What are the words that I say? So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you guys the script that we use. We've made some tweaks here and there, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what those are. But this is our cold calling script. Okay. You'll see what we're looking for, and we want to create this to be as simple as possible, something as straightforward for our agents as we possibly can. Okay. We want our agents to have these conversations, and we want them to not, you know, fret about, oh my gosh, I'm worried I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss that. Ultimately, we go back to our 4 pillars. Our 4 pillars are, what are those 4 pillars? Number 1, they have to have motivation. Number 2, we got to get the property condition. Number 3, they have to have a reasonable timeline. And number 4, they have to have a reasonable asking price. Okay. That's all we're doing on the script. That's all we're trying to find out. When our agents do the initial vetting of any lead, we're just trying to figure out where they're at in this process. Okay. So first thing they do is they introduce themselves. Hey, my name is John. I was hoping to speak with the owners of 123 Main Street. Would that be you? Right? Something simple. We want to confirm we have the right person on the phone. You want to do this for all your VAs. Make sure they're confirming they're talking to the right people right up front. And it comes with tone. Okay. You don't want them to sound like a robot. You want them to have just a regular loose conversation. Okay. So you can see that on the script. We're confirming we have the right person. Once we do, we let them know who we are. We don't use our actual company name, guys. When people ask for your company name via call and text, typically they want to file some sort of report against your company. So you don't want to mention your real company name. That's just something we do to try to protect ourselves from people who, you know, are just going to leave us a bad review. Like, oh my gosh, these people keep calling me. Okay. So that's the second part. Okay, we want to introduce ourselves and we want to see if they're interested or we would consider an offer on their property. Okay. Once we do it, if we are talking to someone who is interested in selling their property, real quick, we want to confirm with them. Say, okay, well, I just have a few questions about the property because we what we don't say is one of the tweaks that we made to the script was, okay, we're calling to see if you're interested in an offer or would you consider an offer. The only response you're ever going to get to that is, what is your offer? Instead, we flip that to saying, okay, this is direct home buyers and we're calling to see if you guys ever consider selling. Right. So instead of consider an offer, are you guys considering selling that one? You guys considering selling that property? If they are, just say, okay, great. Well, sounds good. I just have a few questions about the property. It shouldn't take any longer than 5 minutes. How does that sound? Right. We want to let them know that I'm going to ask some questions about the property and I don't want you to get annoyed if I continue to ask a bunch of questions because I got to go through I got to learn more, see if this is going to be the right fit for the both of us. Right. So we set the tone that this is going to be about 5-minute conversation so they know when I'm asking questions. And if they don't have the time, great, I'll call them back another time. I'll call them back later. Okay. So once we have that, you'll see here we go to our property condition. Now, there's a lot of property condition stuff, right? What is the general condition? How old is the roof and AC? How long ago was the kitchen and bathroom updated? Honestly, don't really care about any of this stuff. This is recently where we pulled a lot of this stuff out of the script itself. Instead, what we say, it's like, okay, great. Well, Mr. Seller, I'm sure you have a great property. If you would rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like it needs like a complete remodel, like it needs everything, and 10 meaning it's in 2021 standards, recently upgraded, remodeled, all that stuff, where would you rate it? Right? So what we do is we give them a scale of 1 to 10, and then we let them explain to us their property. Like, rated a 7 because, the kitchen's good, and the bathrooms, yada, yada. And they start talking about their property and all we're doing is like, got it. Okay. So you just did the bathrooms 6 months ago? Wow. All right. Awesome. And they're like, yada, yada, yada. And as they're talking, we're just reaffirming and confirming, saying, oh my gosh, well, it seems like an awesome place. And the roof, is that new too? Right. So we're just there, we're bouncing it off of them, and it's a lot easier than asking a bunch of like survey questions. I always train my VAs. We never want a survey call. We don't want to just seem like we're just asking a bunch of questions and we're typing answers, right? That's not the purpose. We're discovering, but ultimately we want to open the door for the prospect to open up to us. Okay. So we do that by asking that scale of 1 to 10. So you guys can X and A. You can X out this big section of property condition just by asking that one question. And remember that one question was, okay, Mr. Seller, well, it seems like you have a great place. If you would rate it from a scale of, 1 to 10, 1 being that it needs a complete remodel, it's not currently inhabitable, and 10 being it's in 2021 standards, just recently completely gutted, remodeled, and it looks awesome. Like, where would you rate your property? Right? And then we'll let them give us an answer, and they'll typically talk and they'll go on and on about their property. But as you guys heard me say yesterday, one of the biggest things that we do on these calls is we make sure that there is motivation to sell. So as they go through, they get the condition of the property. Yes, it's so great, blah, 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 blah. So got it. So you're not staying in there, are you? No, I got tenants in place. Or like if we know it's owner occupied, say, okay, are you staying in the property or do you have tenants in there? Right. Well, I have tenants and this, that, and the other. Great. What are the terms on the tenants? These questions matter. You guys can see where it says, how much is typically rent for? Is anyone living in the property? Right. Is there anything else that we should know about the property? Right. Any other specific stuff? So they'll go through that. Those top 3 questions, they can X and A with just asking the scale of 1 to 10. They'll do some follow-up questions to make sure, does anyone live in the property? Are there tenants in place? Is this a long-term lease? Is this a yearly lease? Are they month to month? What does that look like? Because that definitely affects our buying power. How can we buy this property if there's tenants in place? Obviously I'm going to find a special buyer who wants to buy the properties with tenants in place, or I would like to get that property on terms. So I know, later in the acquisition process, by them asking that question up front, we kind of structure, an idea when we make that acquisition call. Okay. We get to our motivation section here. This is the most important part, because if there's no motivation, God himself can't close these people. There's got to be motivation in place, right? So we do that. It's like, oh my gosh, man. Well, Mr. Seller, this seems like an amazing property. What in the world's got you guys thinking about selling right now? That's one of my favorite questions to ask, right? So instead of why are you thinking about selling, so what's got you interested in selling? So little tweaks, right? But the idea of the script's the same. You guys can, of course, take what you want, leave the rest, make the tweaks on your own. But the backbone, the structure of these conversations are it's very predictable. Okay. And it helps your agents and you to know exactly how these conversations can flow. Like everyone's like, well, I don't have a script. I don't work off a script. Even like salespeople, like I don't use a script. It's like, yeah, but you have a framework. Maybe you don't have a specific script, but I guarantee you go back to the same corny lines. You go back to the same things you say because you have a framework of how you want to approach that conversation, right? If you're familiar with PACE and you watch this stuff like the Sandler Sales, there is a clear framework to walk them through that sales process. Maybe use a different analogy one time, maybe use a different story one time, but at the end of the day, it's the same framework. And that's all this script is. It's a framework for your agents. Okay. So you get the motivation's there. They're like, oh, well, so what you got you interested in? Like, oh, well, we're thinking about, moving out of state, yada, yada, yada. Really? Well, how long have you guys been thinking about it? Okay. We'll dig a little bit deeper. And then we'll go to the timeline. Well, if you guys decide to sell, you wouldn't want to do that in the next 30 days, 3 years. Like, what does that look like? Okay, we'll get our timeline right there. And then we'll get their asking price. So got it. So, if we're going to come to an agreement on the price, and we can do X, Y, and Z, we can get you guys to whatever their motivation was. We can get you guys to, Georgia as soon as possible and do all these other things. Like, what are you guys hoping to get? Right? We'll get the asking price right here in the conversation after we've gotten the timeline, even if the timeline's a little fuzzy. Hopefully we've already learned some about the property. We've already built some rapport. We got the motivation. So when we get to the asking price, it's just a natural thing and they're going to give it to you. They're going to give it to your agents rather than kind of fight against like, no, you guys give me an offer, right? We're trying to show them that we want to work together. It just has to be the right fit. So when we get to the asking price, like, okay, awesome. Well, what numbers you guys, what number did you have in mind for the place in its current condition? You can ask it that way. Or, I teach my VAs to ask it in, got it. I mean, if we're going to come to some sort of agreement so you can accomplish X, Y, and Z, and you can do it within the next, I know you said 30 days, like how much would you guys be hoping to get? Right? That's how we teach our VAs to pitch that part to get the asking price. We confirm if there's any mortgages or liens against the property. If they'll give us a number, awesome. And then very simple, they set the appointment for our lead managers. And if you don't have a lead manager, you have a VA cold calling, you're the person that's probably making these follow-up calls. You're the person working your database of leads. They set the appointment for you, right? My little tip for you guys is to have these appointments set for you sooner than later. But, your VA will set, it's like, okay, well, tomorrow around the same time work, or does this work for you? Whatever. The VA then sets the time, say, okay, well, one of my property specialists we'll be reaching out to you. This seems like it could be something we might be interested in. But of course, we want to look into a little bit further and see if this could be the right fit for both of us. So I'll have him reach out. Does the same time tomorrow work for you? Perfect. All right. I'm going to put you here on the schedule. And then, I'll have one of them reach out to you tomorrow. And we'll see if we can work together and we'll go from there. Perfect. All right, great. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Right. That's how our agents start the call. That's how our agents end the call. Very straightforward. Nothing crazy. Everything is pretty predictable through that conversation, but it's important to have that framework. We're gathering information. We're gathering the 4 pillars. Like literally when our agents submit a lead to us, they put the 4 pillars in their notes, right? That's how important the 4 pillars are. Motivation, right? Timeline, asking price, condition, all the things. I want to see that in their notes. And then any other little specific things that are going on that particular lead, all that goes into their notes. So it gives us the information we need when we call them as a lead manager, we call them for acquisition, that we already have a good understanding of what's going on here. So our agents are super duper important that they gather as much information as they can because they really help the acquisition process of keeping that rapport. So we're not dropping the ball and we don't want to be strangers on the second call. We really want to be just grabbing the baton and taking it a little bit further, grabbing the baton and taking a little bit further. And it comes from having good rapport from the first call and being able to pick that up and keep running with it. So guys, that is your action plan day number 9. If you don't have this script, please reach out, mattbeard@vahub.com. We will be making some tweaks to the script so you guys can have what I personally use in my business, right? Our VA Hub clients use this one. And of course, every business is a little bit different. Everybody, communicates differently. Everybody has a different sales process. If you don't do Sandler, you have your own little thing. I talk to plenty of people. It's like, I bought this sales course from someone and I want my VA to be trained on this. Like, great, do that for sure. But here is the framework that we train our VAs on to get those 4 pillars, because they're super important. This is how you grow your business, right? And then from that, you can make it whatever you want. So if you guys don't have the script and you want a copy of it, please send me an email, mattbeard@vahub.com. Happy to give that to you. This is day number 9. Tomorrow's day 10. We're going to keep pushing, guys. Every single day, I'm going to be giving you new things that you're going to want to implement with your virtual assistant. So, I think I was talking to Cody about this. I think one of the challenges of free information is people take it for granted. They're like, well, it's free, whatever. Maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't. One day I'll get to this, and one day I'll get a VA, and one day I'll teach them how to do, I'll give them a script, and one day I'll show them the 4 pillars, or, there's got to be something I'm missing. Guys, I'm giving you exactly what you need to be successful with this stuff. It is free, but please don't just not take action on it. Please don't take it for granted. Please actually do something with it. And I guarantee it'll change your business. It'll change the way you approach your virtual assistants, and it will make them better. No doubt. So if you don't have the script, please reach out. Past that, guys, tomorrow is day 10. We'll be going over something else. And we're going to keep building up on this thing. So I can't wait to do that. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I know we had some sporadic internet issue things early on, but hopefully you guys were able to hear me the whole time and you got some value from this live today. If you did, please like it, please share it. And if you haven't already, head over to my YouTube channel. It's just Matthew Beard. If you type in Matthew Beard on YouTube, you'll find me. Hit the subscribe button because we'll be going live there every single day doing this virtual assistant action plan. So guys, thank you so much coming and hanging out with me, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.